It is our pleasure having you for the news in Africa and the world. We open today's edition in Mali, where embattled President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta has attended a swearing-in ceremony for new Constitutional Court judges appointed last week in an attempt to end a deepening political crisis in the country. The 9 new judges, 6 men and 3 women, took office and pledged to conduct themselves as worthy and loyal judges. Diplomats and prominent members of the country's civilian society were also present at the event in the capital, Bamako. Their appointment was aimed at helping to calm a deep political impasse between Keïta and an increasingly shrill opposition, which is bent on securing his resignation. The special envoy of West African countries to Mali, former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan, arrived on Monday to attend the swearing-in of the new members and is expected to meet Imam Mahmoud Dicko, a leading figure in the protest movement. We remain in Mali, where the figurehead of the opposition June 5 movement, Imam Mahmoud Dicko, has accused France of meddling in the nation's current political crisis. Without concrete evidence, he added the former colonizer has been moving behind the scenes to influence the choice of the next Malian prime minister. The Imam, in strong terms, expressed his patriotism in quote, "It is a decisive day to show that the Malian people are steadfast, that we are not submissive or willing to give up, and that we would rather die as martyrs than live as traitors. But we will have to show as much on August 11 by the grace of God." End of quote. Dicko also stated that Prime Minister Boubou Cissé has no legitimate political ground to stand on and double down on his suspicion of France being behind Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta's incessant hold on the presidency, even against the unyielding calls for his resignation by the opposition. Egypt's Senate election began this Tuesday amid strict precautionary measures as poll stations opened their doors to voters under full judicial supervision. The voting process started at 9 a.m. as scheduled by the Supreme Elections Committee. Queues of voters wearing medical masks, keeping safe distance from each other, and carrying disinfectants can be seen outside polling stations. A total of 63 million Egyptian registered voters are entitled to vote in the 2020 Senate elections. Of the 300 seats in the new Senate, 100 will be appointed by the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi directly. In the case of election rerun, it will be held abroad on Sunday and Monday, September 6 and 7, and in Egypt on September 8 and 9, Tuesday and Wednesday. We now move over to Algeria, where Karl Drareni, editor of Kasbah, Tribune News website, correspondent of TV5 Monde, and media watchdog Reporters Without Borders, who played a prominent role in reporting the country's pro-democracy movement last year, has been sentenced to 3 years in prison. He has been charged of inciting unlawful protest and attacking national unity. The accused, during the trial, which took place in a video conference because of the coronavirus, denied the wrongdoings and said he was only working as an independent journalist and exercising his right to inform. Calls for his release have increased in recent weeks from his supporters, the Committee to Protect Journalists, and NGOs. His supporters said the verdict was similar to the tightly controlled era of former President Abdelaziz Bouteflika, who was pushed out by the mass demonstration and whose successor promised a more democratic, open leadership. Moving out of the African continent, Lebanon's Prime Minister Hassan Diab and his government have resigned in the wake of the deadly blast that ripped through Beirut last week. In a brief speech on national television, the leader said he is taking a step back so he can stand with the people and fight the battle for change alongside them. President Michel Aoun accepted Diab's resignation and asked the government to stay on in a caretaker capacity until a new cabinet was formed. Tensions have escalated over the country following massive explosions in the capital's port that has so far killed 200 people and wounded 6,000 others, according to the latest tally. Fresh protests have broke out in Belarus, leaving one dead as police clashed with protesters after the opposition accused President Alexander Lukashenko of rigging his re-election victory amid a chorus of criticism from Western leaders. Police fired tear gas and stun grenades to thousands of people in the capital in a second night of violence. Foreign observers have not judged the election free and fair and condemned the ongoing violence against protesters and the detention of opposition supporters. Events are being closely watched by Russia, whose oil exports run through Belarus to the west. Germany called for the European Union to discuss sanctions on Belarus that were lifted in 2016 to further better relations. France on Monday urged the greatest restraint in the country after the security forces cracked down on protesters. The U.S. President Donald Trump was escorted out of a news conference after Secret Service agents shot and wounded a man who claimed to be armed outside the White House. An agent walked on stage as Mr. Trump was speaking and led him away. He returned minutes after, saying everything is under control. He added he did not know if the person harbored any ill intentions towards him. Returning from the podium, President Trump resumed his virulent criticism of opposition Democrats and praised for his handling of the coronavirus crisis, which polls showed 2/3 of Americans believe he was botched. Trump went on to praise the U.S. Secret Service, which is in charge of guarding the president, as fantastic people, the best of the best. Said thanks for watching. Programs continue on DBS television. Until we come again, do take care and have a blessed day.